Now, 100 years ago today saw the start of a rail strike that was to end in tragedy in one Welsh town. 2 men were shot by soldiers, which led to rioting in Llanelli. 4 other people were to die in an explosion.
For decades, the Llanelli riots were rarely talked about in the town, but after 100 years, there's a concerted effort to make sure what happened is not forgotten. Here's our West Wales reporter, Kevin Ashford.
Within 1 minute.
It was to become one of the most infamous episodes in Llanelli's history. The shooting of 2 men by soldiers who'd been called in to tackle striking rail workers. It happened here, near Union Bridge. A train had stopped, a crowd had gathered, and soldiers moved in.
It was complete overreaction. There were people watching all this from the windows of the train, and one of them, an old soldier, said there was no need for shooting at all, that he'd been an old soldier himself and had dealt with a mischievous crowd, which is how he described them. But there we are, there is no explanation for it.
Well, news of the shooting spread quickly through the town, and a crowd gathered here outside the railway station. Every window in the building was smashed as the mob vented their fury against the police and the military.
The rioting and strike action was relatively short-lived, but one of the fires started by looters caused an explosion which killed 3 men and a woman. For decades, the Llanelli riots weren't talked about in the town, but recently there have been moves to remember what happened, especially this year, its 100th anniversary.
We're here today to sort of raise that issue up again and say, oh, yeah, they may have been killed and dead, but they're not forgotten, and they're going to be our inspiration over the coming months.
The shame has gone. Even in the past 25 years since I wrote the first book, it was reprinted last year, lots of things have changed. I think the shame has gone. It's part of a history. It's got to be recognised.
This weekend there'll be a march from the station through the town to commemorate the events of 1911, the year that Llanelli rioted. Kevin Ashford, Wales Tonight in Llanelli.